Chapter 1. I tried going back in time. I saw them in a dream. Crom. What is this? I have to go help. And Noel. Mr. Sirius? Miss Raina? Someone. Answer me. Places I've never seen, people I've never met, and a future I haven't experienced. Give me strength. A weakling like you can't be a hero. If I had power back then, this future wouldn't. Only hell awaits at the end of this road. Are you still going to fight? These are definitely memories of someone I don't know. We have confirmed the birth of a new Demon King. Demon King Scarlet. She is already. If I could rewrite the past, would our relationship be different? At the very least, I will end you, Labrys. He was weaker than anyone else, but he still tried his hardest to be strong. He shed a lot of tears, vomited a lot of blood, and broke many taboo. And in the end, he couldn't save anyone. Allow me to introduce the new first seat of the 12 sages, the Time Sage Crom Chronogate. Congratulations. You have become the most powerful monster in the world. That is why I made a decision. I'm finally here. I'll take back everything, starting from that day. If you meet me again, somewhere someday, I won't forget these hellish 100 years. Next time, I swear I'll save you. Have a nice trip, Mr. Crom. I jump out of my head. I have a terrible headache, and the sweat is making my pajama shirt stick to my body. Still, I try to reach out to someone who should be here, but then I see there is no one in front of me. I breathe hard for a while, until I whisper. Was it just a dream? It feels like I just saw an endless nightmare. I guess that's why my memory feels all fuzzy. Where I look around, and see the morning sun is already up. The white light coming through the gaps in the curtains illuminates the room where I was just sleeping. No, wait. Something isn't right, and the source of this feeling of unease is clear. Where am I? I don't know this room. The impression I get is that it belongs to a boy who is a night trainee. There is a worn-out training sword set against a wall, and a desk with a pile of books on it. They look like magic manuals. This simple room makes me feel nostalgic somehow. I feel like I've seen this long ago, but can't quite remember it. At the very least it doesn't look like I've been imprisoned. I watch out for ambushes and the magic traps just in case, as I walk towards the curtain and open it to look outside. I see a small town surrounded by a field of flowers. All the houses are decorated with colorful spring flowers near their windows, and butterflies and petals dance with the wind. And in the middle of it all, townspeople yawn and exchange morning greetings. It's like everything is peaceful. This town. I really think I'm still dreaming. I stand still as I'm completely dumbfounded. And then I notice my reflection in the window. Oh, was my face like that? What is this? In my reflection in the glass, I see a drop running down my face. I immediately press my cheek and feel perplexed. Why am I crying? I can't hold back the tears. I wipe them and wipe them, but they just keep coming. Is it because of that weird dream? Is my mind still in a state of confusion? Where am I? When am I? Who am I? All my memories are vague. Remember, that word reverberates inside my mind, like it's hinting at something. And then, I hear footsteps and someone humming outside my room. I suddenly turn around and position myself ready to fight without delay. Judging by the sound of the footsteps, this person is an amateur. Should I catch and question them? But as I'm pondering this, the footsteps get closer and closer. And, Crom. Happy 16th birthday. A blonde-haired girl opens the door with a bang and comes in. Without thinking it, I absent-mindedly stare at the girl. She doesn't feel like an enemy. She feels to me like the warmth of the sun. A pure and innocent girl. I would say she's probably around 15, and probably of high social status. Her blonde hair looks well looked after and spreads golden particles of light, and her clothes, while simple and neat and look to be of high quality. But more importantly, what is that reaction? Wait, are you crying, Crom? She looks at me and says my name, while looking concerned. Are you alright? Did you have a nightmare? Crom. Words aren't coming out. I just keep staring at her face with a dumbfounded look on mine. She shouldn't be here. I mean, she's already. But I focus on the girl in front of me again. I don't think I could ever mistake this face, no matter how much time passes. The hero, Eluna Moonheart, my childhood friend, who is supposed to have died when I was young, is. She looks just like she did when she was alive. Ah, that's right. I feel the gears snapping into place inside my mind. The two memories, present and future, have overlapped and connected into a clear picture. I finally remember. I did a time leap back to when I was young. Chapter 2. I tried thinking back to the future. The first seat of the 12 sages, Crom Chronogate. 100 years in the future, he was feared as history's strongest mage, and the only time mage in the world. That was me. But that doesn't mean my life was bright and full of praise. I was once weak, and lost people that were very dear to me because of it. I spent my life trying my hardest to become strong enough to never lose what I wanted to protect ever again. I developed theories about time magic, which is something that was always seen as nothing more than a fantasy or a joke, ran around battlefields gaining real combat experience, and killed the demon kings that were being born, one after the other, before taking their power into my own body. If someone as talentless as me was ever going to become strong, I was going to have to work harder than anyone else. Those days were horrible. They felt like I was drowning in my own bloody vomit. I wasn't after status, fame, or wealth. All I wanted was for everything to go back to being like those funny days in my youth. I didn't want to lose anything anymore. So I kept working as hard as I possibly could, and in the end, I finally became strong enough to protect everything. But it was too late. I didn't have enough time. By the time I became strong, I had lost everything I wanted to protect. The girls that were my childhood friends, the people who taught me kindness, the peaceful town where I grew up, the master who taught me magic, my home country of Historia. I couldn't protect a single thing. I spent my entire life becoming strong. But then, I decided I would redo my life, and I used an unprecedented time leap technique to do it. This isn't a dream. Looking at Elle standing in front of me really makes me feel like I'm back in the past. Elle, what year and day of the goddess calendar is it? What's that? All of a sudden, Crom, your face looks scary. Just tell me. HHN? It's the 10th day of the 4th month of the year 1200. It's your 16th birthday. Did you forget? I see. I just wanted to confirm it, and it really is different. No doubt about it. This is 100 years before when I just was. My hometown is still peaceful, and I'm still Crom the failure who can't use magic, and Elle is still alive. Ha 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 ha. It worked. It really worked. I hug Elle without thinking. All the effort I put in during the last 100 years finally paid off. Of course I'm excited. See Crom. www. What are you? Wow. It's really you. Elle, you're alive. Of course I am. I can touch you. I can touch you as much as I want. You really can't. Ha ha ha. Hey, up. Why are you tossing me up like a baby? After having my fill of Elle, I suddenly look at the situation with a cooler head. Oh, Elle's face is bright red, and there's steam rising from her head. Ah, that's right. We weren't really close enough to touch each other like this. Elle was always a sheltered young lady. I remember her being popular with noble guys who called her things like saint and angel, but I don't think she's even used to touching boys. Of course, that includes me. Even if I am her childhood friend. I've never hugged and thrown her into the air either. I came to the past and ended up acting like a perv. I quickly step away from Elle. Sorry. I was just so happy to see you. See me? We're always together, aren't we? You're right. We were always together. And I thought we always would be. But now, I already know. If it's like the first time, Elle will die in today's calamity. Today is the turning point. That black era starts this day. Demon kings born one after the other. The secret doings of the Sorcerer Association. The outbreak of the World War. I lost everything I wanted to protect. In this era I was too weak to do anything about it. But now I have the knowledge and skills I cultivated in the future. I peek over at the clock. It's 6 in the morning. Which means I have 12 hours until Elle dies. I don't have a lot of time, but I won't let that happen again. I will take back everything I lost in the future, and I will do it right here. This time, I'll make sure everything goes well. I secretly steal my resolve. Chapter 3. I tried embarrassing a childhood friend. If it's like the first time, Elle will die in today's calamity. Today is the turning point. I will take back everything I lost in the future, and I will do it right here. This time, I'll make sure everything goes well. I once again steel my resolve, but then I notice Elle looking up and staring at my face. HN? What's wrong? Fui? No, nothing. It just feels like you're different than usual, so I was a bit surprised. Is there something weird? Everything feels kind of weird. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that you look really mature all of a sudden. Really? Well, 100 years did go by, and I don't really remember how I was at this time. But Elle peeks at me with her face still red. Your face always looks sullen, so when you smiled like that, it made me kind of happy. I see. If it makes you happy, I'll make sure to smile a lot from now on. Why yes. Elle looks down in embarrassment. Geez, you're so weird, she mutters. I guess she really sees me as a weird guy. But more importantly, thank you. I approach Elle and place my hand on her head. Www. What? You were worried about me. I have someone who worries about me. At this point in time, I didn't know just how thankful I should have been for that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Elle. Zero magic aptitude, zero magic energy. I was born with strangely shaped magic circuits, so was unable to use any spells, and because of a certain power, my body has no ability to retain magic energy. Spells that people use as naturally as they breathe were completely impossible for me. Because of this, I was abandoned by the prestigious mage family Belmond. After that, I was oppressed everywhere I went. Just because I couldn't use magic, adults used me like a slave and kids continuously picked on me. I didn't have a place in this world. I was always in back alleys holding my knees and cursing the world around me. And the person who found me and reached out to me was none other than Elle. Thanks to her, I was allowed to live in the house of the family of the Night Moon Heart as a servant. That day, Elle pulled me into the light. I want to rewrite the past, but I also want to save her. But why are you thanking me all of a sudden? I want to make sure to say how thankful I am from now on. If I don't say these things while I can, I'll regret it when I can't. I learned that painful lesson the first time, so now I want to live without those regrets. I intend to thank you for everything from now on. I'll be aiming for 200 thank yous a day. My heart won't be able to handle it, so don't overdo it. Why your heart? More importantly, Elle frantically changes the subject. Breakfast is ready. What's with the polite tone? I mean, you kind of feel like an adult, so Elle says while looking up and fidgeting. I don't really get it, but it's fine. Breakfast is ready, and I don't want to keep people waiting. All right, I'll go right away, I say while taking off my clothes. Phew. Elle turns around as her face turns bright red again. Why are you undressing? I'm just changing. Then say so like you always do. Then I can turn around. I'm a bit puzzled by this reaction. How sheltered is she to be embarrassed by a guy changing clothes? No, that's right. I guess Elle is a normal young lady. And you're usually the one who gets embarrassed too. No, it's not really anything to get embarrassed about. We even took baths together until recently. That was really embarrassing. And it was years ago. Really, my sense of time is fuzzy. It's like everything from my youth has been bundled together. Still, I have more muscle than I was expecting. I look at my naked upper body in the window reflection. It's slim, but there's quite a bit of muscle. I just remember being a failure at this time, so I thought for sure my body looked more feeble. That's right, I trained every day as an apprentice knight, right? Elle's father used to be a knight of the imperial court, and I remember training with the sword every day as his pupil. Since I couldn't use magic, I figured I should strengthen my body, but since I pretty much couldn't use physical strengthening magic, I was still the same old Crom the failure. GG's. How long are you going to stay there posing naked? Get dressed already. Well, if you don't want to see, you just have to stop peeking over here. I'm not. You know I can see your reflection in the window, right? I can tell her face is turning red even though I'm looking at her back, but a reaction this big just makes me want to tease her a bit. Alright, I'm done. Why yes. Hiya. Why are you still not dressed? Because your reaction is cute. So Siku, for some reason, This casual back and forth is immensely fun. It really makes me feel like I'm back in the past. And thus, after teasing Elle for a bit, my changing scene is over. Let's go have breakfast. Oh, you really are weird today. Elle is so red it's almost like she just took a bath. But we head to the dining table together. Chapter 4. I tried using time magic. It's my first morning since I came back to the past. I leave my room and head towards the dining table with Elle. As soon as I enter the room where it is, I sense the smell of hot food, and I hear Elle's parents. Morning Crom. Good morning Crom. I freeze. Elle's father is my master who teaches me how to fight with a sword, Sirius Moonheart, and his wife is Raina Moonheart. They're the kind-hearted couple who took me in after my family tossed me away, and raised me as if I were their son. They're also people I couldn't protect the first time. Happy birthday Crom. So you're 16 already? Dear me, it's already been 10 years since you came here. What is it Crom? You're just standing there looking at nothing. For some reason, their voices sound very distant, and for some reason, this warm dining room is starting to look blurry. Crom. Hey, Crom. Oh my. Crom, after hearing their worried voices, I finally realize it. There are tears running down my face. Does anything hurt, Crom? No, I'm just happy about my birthday. So much that you're crying. Elle is here, and so are Mr. Sirius and Miss Raina. Looking at this trio really makes me feel it. I really am back to those days. This still peaceful time. The peaceful time I couldn't protect. Crom, sorry. But can you take those plates? Yes. Miss Raina asks from the kitchen. I clear my head and go get the plates. Despite everything, my position in this house is technically live-in servant. I'll help you Crom. Elle puts plates on a tray, and clumsily walks. When you are, Elle slips while holding the tray, and the plates with food on them are thrown into the hair. Watch out. As soon as I see this, I reflexively start formulating a technique. Haste 2, double speed. I chant quietly, and the world turns to slow motion. Elle's body as she slips, and the plates and food thrown out of the tray all flutter slowly, only I move normally. This is a time spell that speeds up my own personal time. A speed multiplying technique. I used it without thinking because I'm used to being in the future. At least it looks like I can use spells from the future. Learning this is a nice result at least. I grab the tray that's slowly falling, and catch Elle with my other arm. And then, release acceleration. I say, and the world begins to move normally. And the plates land cleanly on the tray. Elle, watch out. You are. Elle blinks rapidly while I hold her in my arm. Everyone present looks on blankly for a moment. What? And Crom. When did you get there? It was to save Elle, but I called too much attention to myself, and never mind that. Are you hurt? Did you twist your ankle? No, I'm fine, but what's wrong? Elle fidgets as her face turns red and she turns away from me. This position is kind of embarrassing. Sorry. That's right, I'm still holding her. I quickly let go of her, but she looks a little reluctant for some reason. I take the tray to the table. That was incredible. The way you moved just now Crom, says Mr. Sirius quietly, but sounding impressed. Even knights of the Imperial Court can't do that. When did you learn to move like that? I can use a bit of physical strengthening magic now. Crom, you can use magic? Everyone looks surprised. Just a bit. That's so great Crom. You've been working hard this whole time. Sniff. Our little Crom can finally. Today really is a blessed day. But still, was that really physical strengthening magic? Elle and Miss Raina are moved to tears, but the former knight of the Imperial Court, Mr. Sirius, is looking at me with suspicion in his eyes. I think it's a good idea to keep quiet about the time magic. This type of magic doesn't exist here yet. It's something I made with persistence that bordered on obsession, and is powerful enough to change the world. If that infamous Sorcerer Association gets wind of this, they do whatever it takes to accomplish their goals. I have no idea what they would even use it for, and they might put the Moonheart family in danger just to get some information. Also, it's incredibly unnatural for someone like me, who until yesterday could not use magic at all, to have suddenly mastered something like this. I want to avoid worrying this family if I can. Anyway, I'm glad both Elle and the food are safe. I changed the subject right away. That's right. Thank you, Crom. Yes, thanks, Crom. No, ha ha ha. It's been a while since I was thanked like this. It kind of itches. Well then, since our breakfast made its way to the table safely, how about we eat? Says Miss Raina while clapping her hands, and we sit down. I see the steaming food in front of me, and a thought crosses my mind. That's right, I haven't had a proper meal in a while either. The first time around, I spent most of my days in battlefields or locked in laboratories. I just cared about ingesting nutrients in the shortest amount of time possible, so I get the feeling that I mostly just ate mushy, cold vegetable porridge. I'm pretty sure it's been 100 years since I ate a nice, home-cooked meal. I take a bite, and I can't stop. Ooh, nice appetite, the Crom. Ha, ha ha. Miss Raina's food is just too good. Foo-foo, thank you. But you eat it every day, don't you, Crom? Geez, you really are weird. Elle and the others giggle. This table is filled with warmth and smiles, but this visual and palate stimuli is enough to get the corners of my eyes feeling warm again. To think there was a time when my life was so nice and peaceful. It's hard to believe, but as things stand, all these people will die in tonight's calamity. I remember standing in front of this destroyed house. I don't want to see that again. I will protect these people, these peaceful times. Crom, what's wrong? You're making that scary face again, eh? Before I know it, Elle is looking at me with a concerned expression. She's my childhood friend, so she notices even small changes in my face. No, I was just thinking about my plans for my birthday. With that serious face. Stop. I don't want to worry, Elle. I can't break this peaceful time. Let's just enjoy this fun time. I still have some time before today's calamity. It's nice having you help with the housework. No, I'm just glad I can help. After breakfast, I help Miss Raina with housework. They treat me like family, but technically I am their servant. Of course, I'm still thinking about tonight, but if I change my behavior too much, I might shift history in an unexpected direction. And if I do that, my knowledge of the future won't be of much use. I'll follow my normal routine as closely as I can. There's also the fact that I want to give back to them like I couldn't the first time. Well then, the weather's nice, so how about we start by doing the laundry? Yes. Can I handle that by myself today? By yourself? That's a lot of work. Are you sure? Yes. I think a boy like me should do that kind of heavy labor. There aren't any magic items used for laundry or washboards like there were in the future. In this era, it's common for people to step on or beat clothes to clean them. Doing laundry is very tiring in this era, and there are so many different kinds of liquids to remove stains that it becomes complicated. If you go all the way to the capital, you'll find cleaners that use magic to clean clothes, but they're expensive, so it's not the sort of thing you would casually use. But you don't have to do it alone. No, there's a secret laundry technique I want to try. Secret laundry technique? Well, if you insist. But if there's anything you want to ask, I'll be in the kitchen. Yes, I'm left alone in the courtyard. Of course, that was the real point of me talking about hidden laundry techniques. My objective is very simple. Well then, let's check my magic. How much magic can this body use? Doing laundry is actually a perfect way to test my time magic. Chapter 5, I tried doing housework with time magic. After breakfast, I decide to help Miss Raina by doing laundry. Now let's test my magic. I want to check how much magic this body can do, and doing laundry is actually a perfect way to test my time magic. Now that Miss Raina is gone, I can close my eyes and focus on the magic circuits on my whole body. Magic circuits are like blood vessels, where magic energy flows. Magic aptitude and the amount of magic energy one can hold is decided by the shape of these magic circuits. This means they pretty much dictate everyone's magic talent. Mine are abnormal to the point of being called twisted. meaning I can't use any magic, or at least that's what I thought at this time. Later I discovered I actually do have aptitude for a certain type of magic, something which was always thought of as a fantasy, something that didn't actually exist. Time magic. All right. I grasp the magic energy flowing into my body from the outside, and grab a piece of clothing soaking in a tub of cleaning liquid. It's something I normally use when I'm training with the sword, so it's covered with dirt and sweat. Time. Turn back. I designate a target and formulate a technique, and a magic circle that looks like a dial of a clock made of light is projected in the air. Clack 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 clack. The hands of the light clock rapidly move counterclockwise, and the dirt on the clothes I'm holding starts disappearing. This is known as a retrogression technique, and serves to rewind the time of a specific target. That should be enough. I stop it around the time when this was new. If I'm not careful, I'll overdo it and take it back to before it was even a piece of clothing. Good. It looks like I can use this magic from the future no problem. At this time, I couldn't hold any magic energy, so I couldn't do any magic at all. But that wasn't because of my body, it was due to a certain power of mine. That's why I worked out a way to use external magic energy to activate magic. I use magic energy in the atmosphere and matter. If I have sources of magic energy like magic stones, I can probably even use great spells like I did in the future. I think about this while doing this magic test called laundry. Everything's done already. All the clothes are as good as new before I know it. I'm sure Miss Raina will be happy too when she sees how clean everything is. I was never good at housework, so I was never very helpful to her. But I guess I should still hang these out to dry. I can't just say I did the laundry with time magic. Now I have time to spare. It's probably a bit unnatural that I'm done already. Laundry is usually physical labor that takes time. But on the other hand, I'm really bad at killing time. Probably because of my nature as a time mage. Time is power, so time is precious. I guess I should test my time magic more and clean the house too. And so I do, before figuring it's the appropriate time to go talk to Miss Raina, who is in the kitchen preparing lunch. Are you here, Miss? Oh, Elle, you're here too? Elle is here too, wearing an apron and awkwardly holding a kitchen knife. It looks like she's cooking something. It's your birthday, right? I'm preparing a nice dinner with Mum. I can't wait. I had no idea they were preparing a special birthday dinner for me on this day. The first time around, this house was destroyed during the calamity. Oh, Crom. Miss Raina takes a pot away from the fire and walks over to me. What is it? Doing the laundry by yourself really is too tough, isn't it? Number. I actually came here to say I'm done. Already? Did you make sure to get all the dirt? She says with a suspicious look. I thought I waited long enough before coming here, but I guess I'm still early. I think it would be faster if you checked it yourself. No, I'm not accusing you of slacking off or anything, she says while heading to the courtyard. Crom, laundry is something that takes time. You have to pick the right liquids for different kinds of stains, and keep smacking and smacking and smacking. She lectures me while we walk, but when she sees the clothes hung out to dry in the courtyard, she freezes. Oh, shocking white. She yells, hysteric. Elle peeks out from behind her mother and her eyes also open wide. Wow, incredible. Everything looks new. How did you do this? There were stains that I couldn't get off no matter how much I tried that aren't there anymore. Please calm down. I can't calm down. I see a cleaning revolution before my eyes. Is this really possible? Isn't it? I've never seen Miss Raina lose her composure like this. I just thought she'd be happy to see everything so clean, and didn't think any deeper than that. But of course, this must be a very abnormal sight for someone who has been doing housework for many years. How did you do it in such a short amount of time? Think of everyone in the world who does laundry. It's a trade secret. Of course, it should stay a secret. This power is simply too mighty. If the secret leaks, the laundry world might even send assassins. Is it really that serious? Laundry is scary. In any case, you are a master of laundry, and I have nothing more to teach you. Yes, I know. How about you do some cleaning next? There must be a lot I can teach you in regards to cleaning, Miss Raina says while turning back to the house. And the house is shining. Every single reaction is so big, and from behind Miss Raina, Elle peeks out again, and wide-eyed again. The house is sparkling. What happened to this house? I cleaned the outer walls while I was at it. While you were at it? Well, I just turned back time with time magic, so it was pretty simple. Miss Raina crumbles to the ground. What am I seeing? Compared to this shine, the cleaning I have been doing is nothing more than trash. You don't have to go that far. She grabs my shoulders and stares at me with a serious expression. Marry Elle right now, and live with us forever. Mum. There was this whole thing, but in the end, I safely ended my part in helping with the housework. Now, if I remember correctly, next is I think back to a typical day in my youth. If I'm going to live in this time from now on, I can't do anything too erratic. Usually after helping Miss Raina I would train with Mr. Sirius. That's perfect, because I want to check how good this body is with a sword. I go grab my training sword in my room, and head to the backyard. Are you already here for today's training? Yes. I'm done with today's housework already. When I get to the backyard I see Mr. Sirius doing his own personal training. Elle's father is such a skillful swordsman, that he was once known as Holy Sword. He trains every single day, even after retiring from the imperial court. He's gentle-mannered, but his aura when he grabs a sword is enough for even current me to shrink back. Being trained by him is part of my daily routine. Nostalgic. What did you say? No, nothing. Really? Then let's start by doing the usual basic movement check with a target. Yes, I respond, before grabbing the sword hanging from my waist and facing the straw man. Now let's see how well this body can swing a sword. 1. This is a reference to a Japanese laundry detergent. Chapter 6. I tried reuniting with another childhood friend. After helping Miss Raina with her housework, I go to the backyard with my training sword. Mr. Sirius training was always part of my daily routine. Then, let's start by doing the usual basic movement check with a target. Yes. So I grab the sword hanging from my waist and face the straw man. Now let's see how well this body can swing a sword. It's a good idea to check that before tonight's calamity anyway. Time magic is classified as support magic, so it in itself doesn't really have a way to attack. It's all about just changing the time flow of my targets. Because of this, my main weapon is a sword, even in the future. I close my eyes, focus, and draw, and then I go with the flow and test my movements and sword techniques. What I learned in my youth, what I mastered during battle in the future. I keep attacking the straw man while picturing an enemy. This body moves better than I expected. I was unsure because my height and muscles are different, but I feel like I can take it up a notch. Then, I gradually increase the speed of my slashes, until I deliver the last slash, and a moment later the straw man falls to the ground, cut to pieces. After seeing this, I suddenly come to my senses. I got too immersed in my testing, and forgot Mr. Sirius is right here watching me. How was it? I hesitantly turn around. Mr. Sirius is frozen with his mouth half open. I mean, at the very least, I can say it's much different than yesterday. Yes, his face is twitching. Unlike before, you are not straining your shoulders and wrists, and you use your lower body properly. There is no axial deviation either. I can see your own style mixed in there, but the way you shaved off unnecessary movements is good enough to become its own style. I never thought it was possible to reach this stage at that age. Thank you. I think I went a bit too far. Up until yesterday, I was behind everyone else when it comes to using the sword too. Still, I'm relieved to hear Mr. Sirius' approval. My style is mostly self-taught. But what kind of training did you do? This feels less like your talent bloomed overnight and more like 100 years worth of experience in battle. I'm startled by how he got it exactly right. He really does have good eyes. No wonder they called him Holy Sword. I guess to the trained eye, it's obvious that this growth couldn't have happened overnight. Well, even if I don't have any talent, I did spend all that time swinging a sword. Yes, My talent with a sword wouldn't just bloom even after 100 years. But I did spend 100 years swinging my sword every day, even on days where I didn't fight. I swung a sword and fought in battles many times more than even Mr. Sirius. Anyway, I have nothing more to teach you when it comes to the basics. Now I would like to see how you move during a mock battle. But, I hear him whispering. Good morning, Master Sirius. I hear a girl's voice. When I turn around, I see a girl my age holding two swords. She is light pink twin tails, and her clothes were tailored with high-quality fabric. Her standoffish face kind of reminds me of a bunny that won't take to anybody. I thank you for your instruction again today. Oh, Labrys, you came in just in time. I have. Mr. Sirius welcomes her with a smile, but I just stand in place with my eyes wide open. L. Labrys, HMPH. She looks at me, and turns away, looking displeased. This gesture feels nostalgic to me. Labrys Scarlet, the daughter of the 4th Duke of Scarlet, here in the Kingdom of Historia. She aspires to one day be an Imperial Knight, so she became Mr. Sirius' pupil not long after I did. But if I remember correctly, she runs for 1 hour every day to get here from the capital. What? Stop staring. I don't want a failure like you to infect me, she says with a cold stare. But it doesn't matter to me. Labrys, you're alive. I hug Labrys without thinking. Ha. Wow, I can touch you. I can touch you. WWR. The first time around, it didn't take long for Labrys to die. Obviously, I knew she would still be alive now, but I can't help but get excited after seeing her again. And you're still kind of small. It's so nostalgic. Let go. Up. What is this? I'm happy with all my heart after seeing Labrys again, but then I relax and Labrys' eyes are spinning and her face is bright red. Number. That's the second time I acted like a perv without thinking. Of course, we never touched each other this much. In fact, the feeling that I get is that Labrys didn't even like me at this time. Sorry. I was so happy about meeting you, that I quickly try to explain what happened, and Labrys just stares at me with surprise in her eyes. HMPH. And after all that, she turns away again. Well, it's not like I blame her for being mad. Are you done? Says Mr. Sirius with an awkward smile. So, about today's training. I was thinking you two could have a mock battle for the first time in a while and I refuse. Chapter 7. I tried having a mock battle with the prodigy girl. In the middle of my sword training, I was reunited with my childhood friend Labrys. And then, Mr. Sirius said, so about today's training. I was thinking you two could have a mock battle for the first time in a while and I refuse. Labrys' response is very quick. Why would I? With this pervert failure? Pervert. It sounds terrible, but I also get the feeling that I can't argue. It wouldn't even serve as training anyway. The gap between us is too large. Well, it's true. At this time, she would win in an instant if we faced each other in a mock battle. Labrys is the opposite of me. She was always called a prodigy with the sword. She has high aptitude for physical strengthening and fire magic, and has sharp senses for battle. She isn't old enough to be an Imperial Knight yet, but it's said that there are already few Imperial Knights who can defeat her. I have to become strong quickly. I don't have time for a mock battle with the likes of Chrom. Yes, I understand how you feel, but I think Chrom is quite strong now. He could even be stronger than you. That failure. Labrys moves her eyebrows in suspicion. Is that a joke? Chrom can't even use magic. He has zero magic aptitude and magic energy. I started using a sword after him, but I can already use stage 5 physical strengthening magic. He can't even use stage 1. And then she glares at me. Why is a failure like you even holding a sword? Are you still trying to become a knight? There's a very cold air between us. It feels very different than when the two of us and Del used to play together. Big brother Chrom, let's become great knights together. We even made a promise like this when we were kids. Labrys was a crybaby who couldn't be left alone, so she was always with me. Then again, it feels like I was only a proper senior pupil for a brief moment. Her talent bloomed when she was still young. She quickly surpassed me, and before I knew it she was far out of my reach. Why is a failure like you with Lady Labrys? Can you not disturb Lady Labrys' training? You failure? Adults around us tried to get us to stay apart. I also felt inferior, and it became harder for me to face her. Our relationship became gradually more distant, until it turned into dislike. And in the end, Labrys died before we could ever make up. I'm sorry Labrys. I can't tell you more about it, but I grip my sword tight. There's a reason why I can't let go of my sword just yet. I see. So you really don't have any intention of giving up? Yes. I nod, and Labrys closes her eyes for a bit. I guess we can go ahead and do this mock battle, she mutters out. But if I win, you can never hold a sword ever again. No, that's... Mr. Sirius tries to intervene, but... All right. Fine by me. Labrys looks at me like she can't believe it. I don't think it even crossed her mind that I would accept. It's true. If I was the same me I was in this era, I would have probably ran away from this challenge. Do you really think you can beat me just because you became a little strong? Who knows? But I have a condition too. Condition? Yes. If I win, can we become friends like we were before? She looks like she was completely blindsided by this. Why would I? It doesn't look like it's going to happen otherwise, right? Why do you want so badly to? Isn't it obvious? I just want to be friends with you, Labrys. The first time around, I didn't get to make up with her. She's very honest, so I know she'll honor this promise, and at the very least our relationship will be different than the first time. And if that's the case, this time, I won't have to kill Labrys. I don't want to lose her. No matter how much she doesn't like me, she's still a dear childhood friend to me. What? Why are you looking at me like that? HMPH. Fine. You're not going to beat me anyway. So can I assume you both agree to this mock battle? Yes. HN. We both nod, leave some distance between us, and hold up our swords. Labrys has one in each hand. She's very good with physical strengthening magic, so she's very strong despite how slender she looks. But more importantly, she's fast. Any time we had a mock battle, it would end with her sword pointed at me before I could even react. The rules will be the same as when you face me. Magic is allowed, and the battle will be over when one of you is unable to keep fighting or surrenders. But try to avoid injuring your opponent, even though you are using blades and magic. Labrys and I silently nod, and Mr. Sirius raises his hand. Well then, start. And with that, it's over. It ends in a second like it always did, but this time with a different winner. Labrys is completely frozen, and her eyes are wide open, and pointed at the white nape of her neck. Is my sword. Can we call it here? Chapter 8. I tried forming a different relationship than last time. Well then, start. And with that, it's over. It ends in a second like it always did, but this time with a different winner. Labrys is completely frozen, and her eyes are wide open, and pointed at the white nape of her neck. Is my sword. Can we call it here? No one answers. Labrys is frozen, unable to understand what's happening, and Mr. Sirius is just looking on with a look of amazement. Surely even he didn't expect it to end like this. What? Labrys finally manages to squeeze out a word. What do you mean what? I just moved quickly. What I did is actually simple. I activated a speed multiplying technique and quickly got close to her. No matter how fast Labrys is, she can't keep up with the quickness of time magic. So, is it over? I try to confirm it again, and Labrys gulps, like she came to her senses. The rules dictate she must be unable to fight or give up. But I'm pretty sure this is already. Give up, mumbles Labrys, and she lowers her swords. There's no way I will. Suddenly, a pink fire that looks like a storm of cherry blossoms rises from her swords. 5 boost. Physical strengthening 5. I undid my speed multiplying technique because I thought the match was over, but that was a bad idea, and my reaction is a little too slow because of it. Thump. My heart jumps. 2 swords rapidly approach, and then, that's enough. Crom. Mr. Sirius' voice brings me back, and I hear the sound of a sword hitting the ground. I look down, and see Labrys sitting on the ground. Her face looks pale, and she's looking up at me while her body trembles. Next to her, I see 2 swords smashed to pieces. Crom. Mr. Sirius places his hand on my shoulder. Calm down. You released too much bloodlust. I finally notice that my face is really stiff, I moved reflexively. I spent too much time on battlefields the first time around, and that feeling of fighting to the death is too deeply entrenched in my soul. What am I doing? I scared Labrys like this right after saying I want to be her friend. Sorry. Are you alright, Labrys? Are you hurt? I extend my hand to Labrys, but she hangs her head and stays still. What was that power? She mumbles. Are you really, Chrom? Yes, I'm Chrom. It makes sense that she can't believe it. I'm sure it feels weird for someone who was always so weak to suddenly become strong. Have you been fooling me all along? Have you been pretending you didn't have power, pretending that you were a failure? She looks up at me, and her eyes look a little red. If you have that power, why didn't you stay with me? You promised. I finally realized something. So that's your problem with me. Labrys always reminded me of a little bunny that doesn't take to anyone but is actually lonely. I should have known that better than anyone, but past me decided on his own. Labrys became very strong, including her heart, and that he wasn't fit to be by her side. So I distanced myself from her. So to her, it probably just seemed like I betrayed her. I don't know if you'll believe me, but I really was weak until yesterday. It's also true that I couldn't use any magic, and as for why I distanced myself from you, I got it in my head that I wasn't good enough to stand next to you, so I ran away. But I looked directly at her face. I'm not running anymore. I've decided that from now on I'm going to make things right. Labrys also looks me in the eyes for a while, and eventually, she turns away like she always does. I give up, and with those words, our mock battle comes to an end. Sorry for everything. And, I said some pretty bad things before too. No, it's fine. I'm actually thankful. I mean, you were concerned about me, right? You have a point in that. Old me would have probably died right away if he became a knight or an adventurer. Chrom, do I really look that nice to you? Labrys says self-deprecatingly. Yes, you do. I know you're actually a nice girl. I put my hand on her head. You're clumsy, but kind, and you always try very hard. I like that about you. It's because you're like that I want us to be friends again. I pat her head gently to reassure her. This kind of feels nostalgic. I used to do this to her a lot. I would pat her head when it looked like she was about to cry, and she'd feel better and smile. Oh, this reaction doesn't seem quite the same. Labrys' face turns red, and she lets out a scream that sounds like she's trying to say words but can't. What are you doing? Seriously? Why are you failure? I don't get it. Labrys jumps back and glares at me. There's something weird about you today, big brother Chrom. Big? Labrys closes her mouth with her hands. Her face gets even redder. See, Chrom, you idiot, she says before zooming out of here. Labrys is a really fast runner. She's not even using a speed multiplying technique. Did I make her mad? I was just patting her head like one would do to a little sister. But then again, current me is only 1 year older than her. I guess it should be obvious that a teenage girl doesn't want a boy her age that she doesn't even like to pat her head. But it's been a while since she called me big brother. I get the feeling that I did run my mouth too much, but I also feel like we're a step closer to being the way we used to be. But then again, Labrys isn't soft enough that I can suddenly change her from not liking me to liking me. I think you became a little closer. Maybe a little. Mr. Sirius was watching this whole scene unfold from the sidelines, and for some reason his face is twitching. But still, you really did manage to defeat Labrys. It feels to me like you jumped to the top of your generation in terms of strength. Well, Labrys also got careless. True. It's very easy for her to become self-conceited, but your movements were not normal, especially at the end. I have never seen something like that. Mr. Sirius silently looks at my face for a while. Chrom, will you face me in a match? He says all of a sudden. Show me your true strength, not as your master, but as a fellow swordsman. Chapter 9. I tried fighting Holy Sword. Chrom, will you face me in a match? Says Mr. Sirius after my mock battle with Labrys. Show me your true strength, not as your master, but as a fellow swordsman. I hesitate for a bit, but at this point there's no way I can gloss over this in a way that doesn't feel unnatural. I'm also interested in seeing how well this body can fight, and above all else, I want Mr. Sirius to see how much I've evolved. The first time around, all I could show him was someone who was not worthy of being his pupil. I know people badmouthed him behind his back because he made me his pupil too, and in the end, I never had the opportunity to show him how much better I became. And so, understood, I'll fight with my all. Thank you, Mr. Sirius says with a smile, before quietly holding up his sword and disappearing. Before I know it, there's a sword approaching me right before my eyes, even though he was pretty far away. Haste 3, triple speed. I instinctively sense danger and activate a speed multiplying technique, before reflexively swinging my sword and changing the trajectory of the incoming slash. My arm feels numb, because I didn't block the sword properly. Incredible, you can even block that now. Mr. Sirius shrugs, and, as I suspected, your magic is definitely not of the physical strengthening kind. You move faster, but the weight of your sword is the same. That means that rather than increasing your strength, it's more likely that you are creating the illusion of moving around faster. You really do have good eyes. He's right. Speed multiplying techniques are most certainly not the same as physical strengthening. My speed is faster, but I'm not faster. It's just that my actions take less time, like I'm fast-forwarding them. My attack and defense aren't any better. If I punch when I'm 2 times faster, it doesn't double the power behind the punch. And if I fall from a tall place, the impact stays the same even if it's at half speed. Alright, it's time for the main event. 7 boost. Physical strengthening 7. The moment he says that, a tremendous amount of fighting spirit is released from his body. Now I'm serious. Come at me seriously as well, Chrom, he says, like he's saying I haven't seen all he has to offer. He holds his sword silently again, and vanishes again. He's fast. He suddenly disappears from my sight again. It's the Moonheart style of tricking the opponent's sense of distance and approaching with a half-moon slash. Haste 4, 4th speed. I go up a gear, and magic energy starts sparking from my body like electricity. My whole body feels like it's screaming. It's not used to the burden of using magic. And yet, he can still keep up. Mr. Sirius isn't just accelerated like me, he's actually fast. His reactions, decision-making, and shifting between techniques too. The trajectory of his sword keeps changing as it approaches me. Every step masks his distance. He's reading my movements before every dodge. So although I'm blocking every attack, my posture is gradually breaking. The speed of the swings is staying the same, but I can't handle it. He really is strong. Holy sword, Sirius Moonheart. It's no wonder he was known as the strongest of the knights of the Imperial Court. This is the height reached by someone who was already loved by the sword, but also spent years polishing his skills. I can't match him with sword skills alone. He used to feel to me like an unattainable height, and now that I've become strong, I can understand how strong he is even better. Mr. Sirius slashes with the intensity of a raging fire. Sparks start flying, and my sword is tossed away. This impact completely breaks my posture, and Mr. Sirius' next attack is already drawing near. I don't have the space to dodge, and I can't block it without a sword. So this is it. The slash comes at me in slow motion. I close my eyes, and then haste 12, last speed. And with that, it's over. He's gone. Mr. Sirius' sword only hits air, and he stops completely. I'm sure he already noticed I'm behind him, pointing my sword at him. This is my all. He stands still without turning around for a while, until I see, he whispers. I give up. His sword falls to the ground. Yes, you've become strong, Chrom. Yes, I nod. All because you taught me kindness, strength, warmth. All because he taught me. If I wasn't raised by Mr. Sirius, I would have never become somebody no matter how many years passed. I kept on swinging my sword, all because I wanted to be like him. All this time, I wished I could tell him it's because of him that I became strong. But, Chrom, I hear my name, and get startled. I raise my head, and see Mr. Sirius looking at me. It's not because of me that you've become strong. I don't understand how you suddenly gained 100 years worth of power. If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. But I have seen many people swinging swords. By looking at how they swing them, I can tell how they have been doing it, and why they have been doing it. He says with a kind smile. Your swings are those of someone who hasn't been loved by the sword. No matter how weak, no matter how scared, no matter how painful. You have shed many tears, vomited a lot of blood, and attempted to save many people. Your sword is a kind one. I think Mr. Sirius has figured it out. In this body, there is someone who isn't this age's Crom. And yet, he doesn't feel uncomfortable. He places his big hand on my head. You've turned out very well, Crom. His hand feels warm and kind. You worked very hard. Yes. No matter what people say, I'm very proud to have a pupil like you. It's the first time no one has ever reacted like this after seeing my power. These words feel to me like they make it all worth it. I really can't beat this man. I didn't really tell him anything, and yet, he said what I wanted to hear all this time, like he saw right through me. I don't have a lot to teach you when it comes to using a sword. From now on, use this time to do what you must do, he says while smiling gently. However, if you ever need my help, feel free to ask any time. I want to be of help to my family. Yes, when the time comes, I'll make sure to. My head naturally lowers. Thank you very much. All I did was receive things from these people. And yet, the first time around, I didn't give anything back. Will I be able to repay them one day? No, I'll definitely repay them little by little, here in this time. That's the whole reason why I came back. Chapter 10. I tried preparing for the calamity. After training with Mr. Sirius, I decide it's time to start getting ready for tonight's calamity. Miss Raina, can I take these fruit seeds? I was going to throw those out. Why do you want that? I want them as a birthday present. How humble. And since it's my birthday, can I have this thread ball and magic stone scraps? Surely you can ask for more? No, the fact that the three of you are alive is the best present I could have asked for. You're such a nice boy, Crom. An emotional Miss Raina hugs me. I managed to get what I need. When I use magic, things like seeds and thread balls turn into weapons. I wanted explosives and a storage ring too, but it would be pretty hard to get those in one day. I have a source of magic energy in these magic stones, so it's fine. And with these, I'm ready for the calamity. Now all that's left is to face it. But then, that's right. Elle asked me to give you this. Miss Raina takes out a letter from the pocket of her apron. A letter. If she has something to say, she could just say it directly. Well, that's, you know how a lady's heart is. I don't really get it, but I read the letter. To Crom. Come to the usual field of flowers on the hill at 6, from Elle. Now that I think about it, I think I remember this letter. I don't remember all the details of what happened on this day, but I'm starting to remember more. This happened the first time around too. The usual field of flowers should be that one. This town, Almana, has so many flowers that it's known as the Flower Town. Labries, and I used to play on a field of flowers on a hill. And it was from that field of flowers that it all began. So, what did she write? Asks Miss Raina like she's making fun of me. She wants me to go to the field of flowers on the hill at 6. Oh? Elle asked that? Foo. I see, I get it. 6. That's right. When the calamity begins, we met on that hill, and then, Elle died. And so did Mr. Sirius and Miss Raina. Everyone died. Oh? Are you going somewhere, Crom? Mr. Sirius is back from patrolling around town. Elle just called him somewhere. Way to go, Elle. Mr. Sirius and Miss Raina laugh like they're really enjoying this. It's so peaceful. It's like nothing like that calamity could possibly happen. I want these people to stay like this. It's better if only I know that. Hell. Well then, I'm off. I turn around to head towards the place where we'll meet. But then I stop. I just realized something. The first time around, this was the last time I talked to these two. This could be the last time I see them. When this thought crosses my mind, Mr. Sirius, Miss Raina, I start to speak. Thank you for taking care of me all this time. See Crom. They look at each other, both perplexed. They don't know what's about to happen, so to them it just seems out of the blue. Still, there was a time when I couldn't tell them this, so I want to say this now. They've given me more than I could ever repay, and the first time around I never even thanked them for it. Before they died in the calamity, I've always regretted it, but now, here, I can finally say it. I'm very glad it was the two of you who took me in. Even though we are not related by blood, you welcomed me with warm food on the table, taught me the magic and sword skills I needed to survive, taught me warmth, kindness, happiness. You have given me more than I can give back. No matter how much time passes, I will always be in your debt. Why did it take me so long to say something so simple? After I finished talking, Miss Raina and Mr. Sirius don't move for a while, and just look at me with surprised expressions. Www. What's that? All of a sudden, did something happen? Crom, are you dying? Mr. Sirius is usually very cool-headed, but he's really flustered. Miss Raina on the other hand usually talks a lot, but is now frozen with her mouth open. Well, I guess that reaction is to be expected. No, I just want you to know how thankful I am, I say with an awkward smile, before turning my back to them again. Now I'm really going, I say as I'm about to start walking. You are coming back, right? Asks Miss Raina, sounding uneasy. Eh? I quickly stop and turn around. No. Oh dear, what am I saying? It's just, it feels like you're going somewhere very far away. Miss Raina tilts her head, looking confused. Maybe she's sensing something on an instinctual level. Of course I am. Then it's fine. I smile like nothing is happening, and it seems that calms Miss Raina. Don't be too late. I'm making a special birthday dinner. Yes, I can't wait. Well then. Miss Raina and Mr. Sirius wave goodbye. See you later, Crom. Take care. It's the same thing I heard that day. The first time around. This was the last time we talked. But that won't be the case this time. Yes, I'll be going, I say with determination in my heart. Now let's put an end to the future brought about by the calamity. All to come home to this happy time. Chapter 11, The Beginning of Everything. I walk through the still peaceful town, and towards the field of flowers on the hill where I'll meet up with Elle. It's been so hectic all day, that I'm only now getting to take a good look at the town in this age. It feels so nostalgic. Almina, the flower town. It's clear as day why it's called that. Every window and entrance is decorated with lovely flowers, and the warm spring wind blows away flower petals of all colors. It's hard to believe such a calm town is about to be destroyed. But I know about the tragic future that's about to come. Should I wait for her here? By the time I reach the hill full of flowers just outside of town, the sky is painted with an evening glow. As the sun sets into the gentle ridge line, I move my head, and get a good look at this entire nostalgic town. When I was a kid, I used to play here all the time. Elle is here, standing in a field of flowers illuminated by the setting sun makes her look like she wandered out of a painting. Crom, she calls out to me, and I stop thinking about this and look at her. Did I get here a bit too early? In fact, sorry for calling you out here. No, it's fine. So, what is it? There's just something I want to talk to you about. I'm actually supposed to keep this a secret, but I want to at least tell you. I suddenly realize Elle is fidgeting as she looks up at me. She's quiet for a moment, like she's choosing her words carefully, and then continues, I am a hero. It's the same thing I heard the first time. I've been told I'm to save the world by someone important who came by our house. Ha 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 ha. It's hard to believe, right? I couldn't believe it either. I'm not strong or brave, and I'm scared of fighting. But I was chosen by an oracle. They say that for the sake of our world's peace, I have to fight the demon kings that are going to appear, and I have to leave this town soon to go out on a journey. This can't be helped, they said. The first time around, I had no idea what she was talking about. I was just a kid who knew nothing. But now I know. So before that, while I'm still just a regular girl, there's something I want to tell you. Elle closes her eyes, like she's mustering up her courage. She grabs the hem of her skirt tightly, and starts talking as her small lips tremble. See, Crom. But then, I hear the bell of the clock tower, signaling it's 6 o'clock. The spring breeze gently envelops us and swirls, making flower petals dance in the air. It's like a page taken out of any regular peaceful day. But I still remember this. I could never forget it. It's coming. The next moment, I hear a rumbling before the ground starts violently shaking. Kyle lets out a small shriek. Flowers are scattered, and small birds fly away in panic. It's the sight that was burned into my mind that day. And just like that day, that appears. I hear a very loud noise. A black wave appears from beyond the hills, and it's coming this way. But it's not a flood. Upon closer inspection, it's clear that things inside the black wave are squirming, like they have a will. And this wave is headed right into our hometown. What is that? A monster stampede. This sight is burned into my brain. The goddess calendar, 10th day of the 4th month of the year 1200, 6 o'clock. The first Demon King is born in a dungeon in a southwestern town of the Kingdom of Historia, named Almana, and the monster stampede that accompanies this event runs through said town. 1211 people die, leaving only one survivor. This is how the calamity that's about to happen in front of me was described. Elle is completely overwhelmed by this apocalyptic vision in front of her. In the meantime, monsters are approaching this once peaceful town with vicious fury, and are about to end the hero Eluna's story before it has a chance to begin. If it's like the first time, the stampede will hit the town in 10 minutes. The town. At this rate, Elle then snaps out of it and raises her voice. I have to go save everyone. I heard that last time too. Elle's power as a hero awakened here, and she abruptly lost her life. And the only survivor was me, who did nothing but stand here in this field of flowers. If I grabbed her hand then, I've regretted it ever since. If I didn't let her go, at least she would have been saved. I was just a powerless boy, who had no idea what to do. No matter how much I regretted it, I had no way to take back what I lost. But now, here, I can do it. Elle, don't go. I grab her hand. Elle turns round with her eyes wide open. I can feel her hand trembling. Elle, let go. I have to go back right away. If I really am a hero, I might be able to defeat those monsters. Elle, calm down. Crom. Elle looks dazed. Probably because I feel different than usual. Right now, you're just a normal girl. You can't beat those monsters. But you don't have to become a hero or anything. If you're scared of fighting, you don't have to fight. If you want to stay in this town forever, you don't have to go out on adventures. You don't have to carry that heavy duty. You don't have to save the world. But then, who will save everyone? I will. I smile gently to try to reassure her. The evening glow paints the sky crimson, and an army of monsters is descending on my hometown to swallow it completely. As I stand here, watching what looks like the end of the world, I say what I was too weak to say that day. I will save everything from here. Chapter 12, The Monster Army. I will save everything from here. The sky is painted crimson like blood, and a stampede of monsters is coming towards my hometown to engulf it. As we stand here before this apocalyptic sight, I smile at Elle. I let go of her hand, and run towards the monsters. Wait, Crom. Elle tries to grab my hand, but haste 4/4 speed. I chant, and the world turns to slow motion. Petals and water drops in the air slowly float, and Elle's hand grabs at nothing. I leave the rest of the world behind as I run through a time of my own. I can't hear Elle anymore. Today was a fun day. As I run towards the rampaging monsters, I remember the events of this day. I succeeded in traveling to the past, and managed to return to my youth. I met Elle again, thanked Mr. Sirius and Miss Raina, and made up with Labrys just a bit. It was a happy day, an irreplaceable time. I want to protect this peaceful time and the people I care about, and I will do anything to accomplish this. I take out the magic stones in my pocket and throw them in my mouth. After I chew them, magic energy starts flowing into my body. This is a way to supplement magic energy externally, but one wrong move could kill me. Haste 7/7 speed. I accelerate even further. At this point, it's hard to even see me. This body isn't used to magic, and it feels like it's screaming. Magic energy sparks from the surface of my body, and I feel so much pain, It's like the magic circuits in my body are being burnt off, but still, I can't stop. Monster Stampede, where are adventurers? Calm down everyone. Go back to town. You are a monster? No, I think it was human. It's all happening one after the other. I pass by panicked people in the streets, leaving only the light created by the magic energy sparks. I just keep running through this world that looks completely frozen in time. I eventually stop. I stop the speed multiplying technique, compose my breathing, and fix my eyes forward. Underneath the blood-red sky, monsters fill the field of flowers in front of me. There are hundreds, maybe thousands. All I know is that there is a ridiculous number of monsters here. The atmosphere is shaken by yells and the rumbling in the ground. The monster army approaches, looking like a writhing black flood. This is the monster stampede that caused a disaster that went down in history, and only I stand against it. Finally, I'm here. It took a long time for me to get to this point. I shed more blood and tears than I can remember, and broke more taboo than I can count. All that time was spent on one single goal: get stronger, and it was all for this moment. This isn't just a powerless boy anymore. It's not the same failure that could do nothing but stand and watch. This is the strongest time mage, Chrom Chronogate. All this time, I wished I could rewrite the past. And I will do it from here. I unsheathe my sword and quietly hold it up. The monsters aren't going to stop just because one human appeared in front of them. They're faster than I expected. They'll make contact in 30 seconds. But no matter how fast, no matter how quick, they can't keep up with my time magic. Haste 12, last speed, I say, and the world stops. The monsters coming towards me are all completely immobile. I use the highest speed multiplier on this body. No one can keep up with me now, and no one can catch me. I kick the ground in this accelerated time, and pass by the monsters. Undo acceleration. The monsters start moving again, and glints from a sword run rampant on the battlefield, and a second later, thousands of blood flowers bloom. Monsters start falling, and then the rumbling stops. It's quiet, like nothing even happened. The monsters probably didn't even notice they died. At this point, something like this isn't even close to being a threat to me. That takes care of the opener. My sword reaches its limit, and cracks and breaks. But I roll back. It's time to fix it, and hold it up again. The battle isn't over. In fact, the main performance is just starting. I stand in front of the last monster remaining. It's been 100 years. I've always wanted to face you. What stands before me is a divine-looking six-winged dragon covered with pure white scale armor. This is the leader of the army of monsters, and the cause of the calamity. A demon king. Now let's begin. First Demon King Ancestral Dragon Vibhuras. Chapter 13. The First Demon King, Ancestral Dragon Vibhuras. Now let's begin. First Demon King Ancestral Dragon Vibhuras. What stands before me is a divine-looking six-winged dragon covered with pure white scale armor. This is the leader of the army of monsters, and the cause of the calamity. A demon king. The goddess calendar, 10th day of the 4th month of the year 1200, 6 o'clock. On this day, from this moment on, demon kings are born all over the world, one after the other. Demon kings appear only once every few centuries, but they are enough to change the course of human history in a big way. They are calamity incarnate. They are strong enough to annihilate entire countries, and they are a curtain call for an age of peace and signal the start of an age of calamity. The first of these demon kings is standing right in front of me. Ancestral Dragon Vibhuras. What are you? The ancestral dragon asks with a low rumbling. Why do you stand before me, with that tiny body? It seems you use some strange power. Could it be that you are what they call a hero? No, I'm just the hero's childhood friend. The ancestral dragon freezes for a second. I don't think it expected that response. Gu, gahahaha. Masterpiece, masterpiece, masterpiece. Masterpiece. Not a hero. A frail body with no magic energy. You are going to fight a demon king? That's right. I say with no hesitation. I will end every demon king. No matter what kind or how many demon kings are born, the world will stay peaceful if I beat them all. Then El won't have to be a hero. End. You say? A tiny little human? The ancestral dragon giggles. Fool, 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 fool. Do you not know what a demon king is? Demon kings stand above all monsters and demons. They are magic, the law of this world itself. The ancestral dragon opens its mouth and sucks in magic energy around us. Its chest starts to swell. I will show you the power of a demon king. And then a white light that looks like lightning is fired from its mouth. The world around me is painted white as I hear a loud roar. The breath of destruction. The ancestral dragon's breath that annihilates everything it touches. Everything engulfed in it vanishes inside its light and heat. The earth crumbles, bodies of monsters evaporate, and I'm swallowed by the light. By the time the light subsides, the ground around me is red hot and boiling. Goo ha 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 ha. Look, 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 look. This is a demon king's. The ancestral dragon is about to yell victoriously, but stops. Its eyes open wide in disbelief. What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Right in the middle of the ground carved by the ancestral dragon, I stand as if nothing happened. Right after receiving a direct hit. What are? The ancestral dragon steps back. Why? You have next to no magic energy. But you're standing. Why do you not have a single scratch? Impossible. It should have been a direct hit. I saw it with my own eyes. You should have no way to defend yourself against that attack. It looks like the ancestral dragon was pretty confident in its strength. But, sorry, but I've fought enough demon kings like you to the death already. An attack like that won't kill me. What I did is simple. I stopped my own time just as the breath was about to hit me. Stopped bodies can't be changed, so it's an absolute defense. And nonsense. The ancestral dragon attacks with its breath again, but its timing is easy to understand, so it's easily dealt with. I just stop my own time again. But I have no intention of just defending forever. I take out a few seeds from my pocket, and throw them with acceleration to the feet of the ancestral dragon. Time, advance. The seeds on the ground explode into a tree. What is this trash? Ah! The trunk and branches of the tree coil around the giant body of the ancestral dragon and bind it. It tries to escape. But, stop. I stop the tree's time. Stopped bodies can't be changed, so no matter how much the ancestral dragon struggles, it can't escape from the stopped tree's constraints. Why? This is only a tree. Why can't I move? What is this power? It starts firing its breath in desperation. Again and again and again. Each one carries enough power to level a city, and each one hits me directly. Now let's talk about the future that was supposed to begin today. I start speaking quietly while approaching the ancestral dragon. You, the first demon king, killed a hero and destroyed my hometown, starting a dark age. No one could beat you, and you destroyed a lot of countries. That future, the destruction would have started here. That's the original future. The shape the future is supposed to have. But I reject that future. Even if it's a sin to change the future, even if breaking this taboo is unforgivable. I got here after a very long journey. Eventually, the breath stops, and instead a lot of blood is spewed out of the ancestral dragon's mouth. I guess it spewed so much breath that it burned its own throat. And yet, I took it all and I'm completely unharmed. Are you done? Then it's my time. It's my chance to take down the ancestral dragon. I turn my attention to the atmosphere around us, and see it's immensely rich in magic energy. Probably because the ancestral dragon fired its breath so much. I use it all as external magic energy so I can activate my technique. Gather. I place the palm of my hand on my chest and start formulating a technique. Whoosh. Magic energy around me whirls, and gathers in my hand. My whole body is sparking, discharging magic energy. I had no talent, so it took me 100 years to get here. What is that power? The face of the ancestral dragon twists with despair. It's an intelligent being, so it understands the gulf between our powers. Impossible, 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 impossible. I am a demon king. Demon king. Demon king? I should not lose to a puny human that is not even a hero. I cannot end here. Yes, you're actually right. I walk in front of the ancestral dragon and touch the tip of its nose. There aren't any humans who can end you in this age. There is no record of the ancestral dragon being slain the first time around, just a pile of defeats. Even in the end, Humans couldn't defeat it. So I've been thinking about how to kill you for the past 100 years. The answer is simple. Time. Advance. Those words are enough to end this Demon King. What are you? A giant magic circle lights up beneath the ancestral dragon, and its body starts to violently shake. The time of the body of the ancestral dragon begins to advance more rapidly. Time is power. No matter how strong you are, no living being can fight back against time. The time of its body flows at a very high speed, and it visibly withers. And since it's stuck in the stopped tree, it can't escape this time magic. Damn you, damn you, damn you, damn you. Is that power time? Time? It can't be. 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 How many taboos did you? The resentful screams of the ancestral dragon echo. It knows it can't escape its death. I look at those eyes filled with hellish hate one last time, and smile. Thank you. It's thanks to you that I became this strong. And so, end. I whisper. The ancestral dragon rots, turns to bones, and then to ash. The weathered dragon bones turn to dust glitter as they fly into the evening sky. Nothing remains of the ancestral dragon, and nothing moves in this battlefield except me. The first Demon King has been slain. I finally take a breath. Looks like I was actually pretty nervous. You cough. I gag, and blood comes out of my mouth. I pushed myself too much. I was firing around great magic with this body that's still not used to using magic in the first place. This was a lot for my body of this time to take. My head hurts a lot and I feel very dizzy. Sweat pours from my entire body and I stumble, finding it very hard to put any strength into my muscles. But still, it's over. The Demon King that once destroyed my hometown was terminated here. Around me is the carved earth and countless monster bodies. Only I can still move here. In my youth, this monster army caused me so much despair, but I guess I became an even bigger monster. Congratulations. You have become the most powerful monster in the world. I remember something that was said to me in the future, and the fear the ancestral dragon had in its face in the end. I don't mind being a monster. I finally managed to protect what I wanted. My hometown, my childhood friend, everyone. That tragic future was changed by my hand. So now, guess I'll go home, to the hometown I once lost, with people dear to me, to a peaceful time when everyone is smiling. Chapter 14. A new future. What is happening? Is it true that there's a monster stampede? It's the end of the world. Hey, where are the monsters? The ancestral dragon fell. I returned to town like nothing happened, and I'm greeted by panicking townspeople. I'm telling you, I saw it. It was too far to see very well, but someone ran really fast, and cut down the monster army in a second. Then he turned this really huge dragon into dust. What's that? A fantasy novel? It's too exaggerated even for that. No, I really saw it. I guess there are some who actually saw me, but they don't really understand what happened, and no one believes them. Not that I blame them. If you actually calm down and try to explain what just happened, it sounds incomprehensible. Listening to the townspeople, I get the impression that half the confusion in this town is about me. I guess it makes sense that a being that can cut down a monster stampede in a second is feared more than the monster stampede itself. I'm sure it doesn't even cross their minds that the perpetrator is walking right past them. I think while I walk through town, Elle pushes through the crowd of people and runs to me. I guess she came back to town after she saw the monster stampede being suppressed. Seeing her alive makes me feel a bit relieved. Gaha. Elle jumps at me and hugs me. I'm so glad you're alright. Geez, you ran out by yourself. If something happened to you, sorry. And you're kind of hurting me. What was that power? You ran really fast like baby Uan. And then Boom and the monsters all fell at the same time. And then, yes, I can tell you're confused. How do I explain this? I thought about ending the calamity, and didn't think about anything else. Actually, why yes, I became strong with time magic and I'm in the middle of a new game. I returned to the past to rewrite it as the world's strongest. Geez, be serious. Yes, Of course she doesn't believe it. This is all too crazy. No wonder people are saying it's like a fantasy novel. I smile awkwardly and respond again. Well, I worked very hard and became strong. That's it. I just want to protect people that are important to me. That's the whole reason why I spent 100 years swinging a sword in battlefields. No matter how many tears I shed, no matter how much blood I vomited, even if I was called a demon, even if I had to become a monster. But, sorry, I'm sure this is creepy. Someone who was called a failure up until yesterday suddenly became that strong. What's in this body? Isn't this Era's Crom? The Crom L knows, and I changed. The first time around, I did anything to get power. The power I have now is sullied with blood. It can't be helped if she hates me for being creepy, or if she thinks I'm a monster. I really didn't want Elle to see me fighting, but, don't say that. For some reason, Elle looks at me like she's about to cry. You stood against that monster stampede by yourself to protect everyone. I thought it was really scary, but you went out there and did your best. I would never call you creepy, and I don't want you to do it either. You're the Crom I know. No matter how strong you get, you're kinder than anyone I know, work harder than anyone else, and no one's cooler than you. You're the same Crom as always. Am I? Yes. Elle smiles. She steps forward, and then looks back at me. Well then, how about we go home, Crom? She extends her hand to me, just like she did when I was stuck in the darkness hating the world, and she pulled me into the light. I feel like this small hand is always guiding me. I look at it for a bit. Yes, I take her hand, and we start walking. Now that I think about it, as we make our way home, I remember something. I ask a question that's been on my mind for the last 100 years. What were you going to say back when we were on the hill? Nay, Crom. I feel like I can finally hear what comes next. Elle's face is turning red. Oh, one day, we'll talk about it again. I see. One day. Oh well. That's fine. There's no reason to rush. We have a future now. I peek over at the clock tower. The goddess calendar, 10th day of the 4th month of the year 1200, 6:36 in the evening. Originally, this town would have been overrun by monsters by now. But now, the town is peaceful, and Elle is smiling. I reached a future that's different than last time, but there is still a lot I want to redo. So, let's start from here in the past. My best life with both time magic and knowledge of the future, with no regrets. Surely the future that awaits me now is happy and peaceful. Looking at Elle's smile, I can't imagine it any other way. Join my Patreon to support me. Chapter 15. Meanwhile, Labrys. This chapter is told from Labrys' point of view. Just before the calamity, in a small town surrounded by flowers named Almina, Labrys Scarlet walked back and forth in front of the house of the Moonheart family. It was almost 6. This is the year I will give Crom a birthday present. Probably. Labrys looked troubled as she looked at the small package in her hands. She prepared it every year, and every year she failed to give it. But this year she would do it. Probably. Crom wanted them to be friends like before. But those feelings also existed inside Labrys. And yet, she could not bring herself to be honest. Today, she remembered what happened earlier that day. How she spoke harshly to him, how she lost against him in a mock battle, but also how it felt when he pat her head, and his smile when he said kind things. She felt she remembered too much. She shook her head and her pink twintails to try to cool her head as her face became red. Anyway, there was something different about Crom that day. And she did manage to make up with him just a little. And I promised we'd be friends too. This was just part of honoring her promise, an obligation, and it would be a waste to just throw away the present she went out of her way to get. So Labrys did something she would usually not do. All right, I'll just hand this and go. Labrys made up her mind and suddenly realized something. She forgot something important. What to say when she handed Crom his birthday present. I need to prepare a little bit more. But just as she thought this, what are you doing, Labrys? Labrys was startled, and her twintails pointed up. She raised her head, and saw Elle's mother Raina, who spoke to her after exiting through the front door. What is it? Did you forget something? No. Labrys fidgeted, but spoke like she made up her mind. I have something to give Chrom. Chrom, it's a birthday present of sorts. Her face became red as she spoke. Raina felt she understood what was going on, and nodded with an amused expression. But unfortunately, Chrom went out for a while. Is that so? Labrie's twin tails drooped. Do you want to leave it with me? No, I want to give it myself. I see. But it will be dark soon, said Raina as she looked at the clock tower. It would soon be 6 o'clock. The hands of the clock then formed a vertical line. Clang clang. The bell rang loudly. But just as a grand metallic symphony enveloped the peaceful town, there was a big rumbling in the ground. Kaya. It came completely without warning. Flowers that painted the town flew around as though they had been plucked. People screamed, and little birds scrambled to get away. Raina, are you all right? Master Sirius immediately jumped out of the house. You're here too, Labries? What was? I don't know. The ground just started shaking. Labries looked all around, but didn't see any damage caused by the rumbling. But there was a bigger problem. She could hear what sounded like endless roars of monsters far away. Is that a monster stampede? Why here? Are monsters coming too? I don't know, but judging by the direction those noises are coming from, I would say the monster stampede originated in that dungeon. There is little chance that monsters would overflow from there and descend on this town, but there might be a lot coming here. We need to contact the Adventurer Guild and the Vigilance Committee right away. El and Chrom went out of town. Will they be all right? As soon as Labries heard this, she took off running. Labries was quick to make decisions at times like these. Wait. Labries. She heard her master trying to stop her, but pressed on. 5 boost. Physical strengthening 5. She chanted, and the flames of magic energy enveloped Labries, looking like cherry blossoms. Magic energy manifested itself in different shapes that varied from person to person. Master Sirius was moonlight, and Chrom's was lightning. Labries' magic energy took the form of flower petals, probably due to the influence of what was essentially her second hometown. It's a monster stampede. Look at how many. Where do we go? Labries heard the screams of people running away in panic. As she ran through the crowd, she left a pink light in her path. Is it really a monster stampede in this town? It was unbelievable. She didn't want to believe it, but Labries figured she might be strong enough to halt their advance even if just for a little bit. She wanted to protect this town, and also Chrom and El. She wanted to be someone who could protect others. That was why she had been working so hard to become stronger. Ever since that day, Labries dashed towards the monster stampede, and the moment she left town, the monster stampede was over. The ground was carved and boiling, and she saw hundreds of cut monster corpses. It truly was a sight worthy of the term battlefield. And in the middle was a giant dragon with smoke coming from it, and a single black-haired boy. The boy whispered as he touched the dragon, and the giant body of the dragon crumbled and turned to dust. What is going on? It was an unbelievable sight. Labries only saw it for a moment, but that dragon appeared to be on the same level as a demon king. Those were beings that appeared every few centuries, and were enough of a calamity to bring about a turning point in history. And he made it disappear in a second. He was hidden behind the corpses of the monsters for a moment, but Labries took a good look at the boy. Still, she was too far, and his back was turned, so she could not see his face. She could however feel his intense bloodlust from even far away. He was not a monster, but also did not feel human. Labries' whole body trembled. She could not close her mouth, and her hand shook too much for her to grab a hold of her sword. She was scared, and yet she could not look away. She felt it was as though he was destined to live on the battlefield, but as she looked at that lonely body from behind, a single tear ran down her face. She knew nothing about him, and yet, looking at him made her sad for some reason. Is he an enemy? A friend? If he posed a threat to the town, she would have to fight him. She had to protect Chrom and El. However, she simply stood in place, unable to move. Thankfully, it looked like he had not noticed her. Eventually, he seemingly just vanished, but the face she saw from the side just before he left was burned into the back of her mind. It reminded her of Seacrom. That whisper was drowned out by the wind in the desolated field of battle. Join my Patreon to support me and read ahead. Chapter 16. I tried deciding the plan going forward. Crom. L. Thank goodness you're both all right. It's after I ended the calamity, and Elle and I return home to Mr. Sirius and Miss Raina's concerned voices. But what was that? I felt the ground rumbling, and before I knew it there were corpses of monsters lying on the ground. I don't understand any of this, but from what I hear, some sort of mysterious hero took down the monsters, says Mr. Sirius while peeking my way. Do you know anything, Crom? Me. Well, you were outside of town, weren't you? Why yes, I was. I'm pretty sure he figured out I did something. But that doesn't mean I can give him an honest answer. I don't want their peace to be destroyed because of me. Well, apparently it was all resolved very quickly, so it probably wasn't that big of a deal. I see. If you say so, it's probably true. Mr. Sirius nods like he's accepting my answer, at least for now. It seems an adventurer survey team will be sent tomorrow. But I hope it really was nothing. Survey team? HN? What's wrong? Nothing. It looks like I still caused some commotion. It's your birthday, so don't make the gloomy face. The food is getting cold too. We made your favorite hamburger steak. I get to enjoy a modest birthday, and eat the food Elle and Miss Raina made for me. The food I didn't get to enjoy the first time around. It really makes me feel like the future has changed. That's right, Crom, Miss Raina says while placing one hand on her cheek, like she just remembered something. Did you talk to Labrys before you came back? Labrys? I didn't. So you must have missed each other. She brought you a birthday present. Labrys did? Labby? Elle and I react with surprise. Crom. Did you two make up? Yes. Well, maybe. We did promise to be friends, but it's still unexpected. That Labrys got me a birthday present. She was supposed to be in the capital at that point, the first time around. That's how she survived the calamity. Did I change history the two? Is it because our relationship changed? It sounds like she missed her chance to give me that present because it was late, and because of all that ruckus. She probably gathered up her courage and brought it to me as a symbol of us making up. I'm honestly happy about this change. I'll accept it tomorrow if I see her. It's one more thing to look forward to in this future. After dinner, I go back to my room and sit on a chair. I tried not to show it to them, but my whole body is kind of in tatters. I cough, and some blood comes out. Fighting a demon king and a monster stampede is too much for this body from when I was a failure to handle. I move a little, and feel an intense pain inside my body, like it's being burned. I guess the strain on my magic energy circuits twisted them temporarily, and that's interfering with my ability to use magic too. I need to take it easy for a while. Oh well, I'm actually used to this level of pain, so it won't really affect my daily life that much. I don't want to worry Elle and the others either. I should still be able to fight too, unless it's something like a demon king, of course. Still, this is nostalgic. I take a look around my room as it's illuminated by the magic stone lantern, to take my mind off the pain. I didn't really get to have a good look at it in the morning. This book. I casually grab a textbook about magic that was sitting on my desk. It's a book I read a lot at this time. The pages are worn out from turning so much. Now that I think about it, I couldn't use any magic at all, but still studied and practiced it every single day, all to become strong enough to one day repay and protect everyone. Looking at it now, this is pretty low-level stuff. I smile without thinking as I look through the textbook. I used to struggle with such basic stuff. And also, so there was a time when these were established theories. This method of magic energy manipulation is pretty inefficient, isn't it? Mages of this time couldn't activate magic without an invocation body stuff. There's so much that doesn't make sense from the perspective of 100 years in the future. Still, this really makes me feel the weight that is 100 years' time. Magic advanced rapidly from this point forward, in part because of the outbreak of demon kings. Most theories of this time were updated. This underdeveloped magic theory is probably the reason why I was labeled as having zero talent and thrown out of my home. but that led to me meeting people like El and Labries, so it's fine. I should review some magic theory from this era. If I accidentally say something that doesn't match this age's theory, it could be trouble. I definitely want to keep it a secret that I'm from the future, and because of this, I start reading the books piled up here. This stuff is all light reading, so I can read a volume in about 3 minutes and remember it. I sigh after reading the last one. Ah, are you done? You are. Elle's face is right next to me. You finally noticed. Your ability to concentrate is incredible. When did you? About half an hour ago. Half an hour, and you didn't get tired of looking at me? Well, no. Elle hurries to try to change the subject. More importantly, you read really quickly. Did you even understand anything? Well, I've read them all before. I see. You're always working so hard. Crom. Elle smiles lightly. You always say you're going to become a strong hero that protects everyone. Did I say that sort of thing 100 years ago? It's kind of embarrassing, like someone's digging up my dark history. We keep chatting for a bit, as I'm sure we did every day in this age. Just light, casual talk. I think I'm getting too into it though, because Elle is talking less and less. No. She rubs her sleepy eyes, and falls back on my bed, where she was sitting. Crom, she says with sleepy eyes and a drowsy smile. I hope this piece never ends. Me too. But don't overdo it, eh, Crom? Sometimes it feels like you're trying too hard. I think you're actually holding back something painful and forcing a smile. I don't say anything. I thought I was doing a good job pretending to be calm, but I guess she saw right through me. That's not true. I answer after a while. But Elle is already sleeping. I put a blanket on top of her, and stroke her hair before leaving. I hope this piece never ends, she said. I hope so too, from the bottom of my heart. And I'll make sure it never does, no matter how much I have to strain myself. That was my entire reason for living 100 years ago. I put my hand on the wall, and open my mouth. Time. Stop. I hear a sound, and something like a ripple of magic energy spreads through the walls. The time of this house's outer walls and windows has stopped. I used a concealment technique using a formula from 100 years in the future, so mages from this era shouldn't notice any changes even if they look directly at it. Since the time of this house has stopped, nothing should harm it unless the technique is undone from the inside. We should be safe even if we're attacked during the night. I just hope I'm being paranoid. This calamity is over, but that doesn't mean I can relax. After all, this calamity was just the beginning. I know that very well. The second Demon King will be born soon. Demon Kings were born in succession, even though it should happen once every few centuries. That was definitely not a coincidence. After all, these Demon King births weren't natural disasters, they were man-made calamities. The ancestral dragon Vibras, who was slain in ancient times, just happened to be revived in a low-level dungeon, and thousands of monsters that shouldn't be there accompanied him. And those monsters just happened to go straight to this town. It's all too convenient. This calamity was brought about by a Demon King transformation experience conducted in the underground dungeon of Almana, and the ones behind it were the Sorcerer Association, a mage organization that holds immense power here in the Centaur continent. In this world that revolves around magic, mages have a lot of authority. In particular, the 12 sages that rule on top of them all. Each one is powerful enough to shake this whole continent. Well, the first time around I was number one. The first time around, I joined them even though I knew they were my enemies, all to gain power. And I climbed to the top. That's why I managed to read documents that were secret to all outsiders, and learned that the association was connected to the birth of Demon Kings. A lot of documents from this time had been lost, but I assume they were actually concealed by other sages, who had the same authority. This time, I'll crush them from the source. In the future, I was always one step behind the Demon Kings, since I never knew where they would pop up. But here in the past, I should be able to stop them as soon as they're born. I'll make it so it's like those historic Demon King births never even happened. That means that this time I'll have to go against the Sorcerer Association. The 12 sages that were once my comrades will all be my enemies. But I don't care, I'll create a peaceful era without demon kings. I go to bed with this resolve in my heart, and thus, my first day in the past comes to an end. Join my Patreon to support me and read ahead. Chapter 17. I tried dreaming. This is a dream. I'm sure it's a nightmare. Why did this happen? The town is burning. Flames dance down from the sky like cherry blossoms. Everything those beautiful petals touch is enveloped in a never-ending fire until it's turned to ash. This is hell. And at the center of this hell, stands a demon king. No one is kinder, and no one works harder. And yet, this girl has turned into a demon king. If I could rewrite the past, would our relationship be different? The demon king doesn't answer. It probably can't even understand me anymore. In the end, we never saw eye to eye. Our promise from when we were young remained unfulfilled. All we are now are two beings trying to kill each other. I see. Then, I hold up my sword and face the demon king. At the very least, I will end you, Labrys. And then, Demon King Sinful Flame Princess Scarlet. That's the name of the first Demon King I killed. I wake up, and don't see a burning town anymore. But what I see isn't a laboratory of the Sorcerer Association, or the dance of blood and iron powder of a battlefield either. This is my room, of my youth. I see the spring sunlight from the gap between the curtains, and hear the chirps of little birds. Yes, I went back to the past. I take a deep breath and scratch my head. What an awful dream. Then again, there hasn't been a night in these past 100 years where I didn't have a nightmare. But of all things, it had to be of that time, even though it was a dream. The feeling of stabbing through Labrys with my sword is very fresh in my hand. The first time around, Labrys became a demon king, and I killed her. The reason why she became a demon king in the first place isn't certain, but at least it shouldn't happen very soon. This time, I'll have to keep an eye on what she's doing. There's already been a change in her behavior thanks to the change in our relationship. I don't know what's going to happen from now on, but I just hope this dream wasn't a bad omen. There's so much to think about. The continuous births of demon kings, the plot of the Sorcerer Association, Labrys' movements. It's too much for one person. I guess it's really not going to be easy to get my ideal future. I sigh, and try to get out of bed. That's when I notice something on my body. I lift up the cover, and see Elle sleeping peacefully. Ah, that's right, she stayed here last night. Elle is holding me, so I can't get up. I can't just push her away from me either, so I just stay lying in bed, and stroke her hair. After a while, she starts to fidget, and blinks a little. She looks up at me with moist drowsy eyes, and limply lowers her half-asleep face. It's Crom. She rubs her head against my arm and sighs with satisfaction. It's like a dog or a cat. She really is still half asleep. But I can't just stay here forever. Elle, can you please let go of me? I gently shake her. No. She blinks and looks at me again, still dazed. Good morning, Elle. No. Her eyes start to focus. And then, she makes a strange sound. Now she's definitely awake. Why are you here? No, you were the one sleeping on my bed. Can you let go of me? She finally realizes she's holding me. She lets go of me immediately and presses her red cheeks with her hands. It wasn't a dream. What part of it was real? Were you dreaming? I wasn't. I didn't have a weird dream or anything. She shakes her head as her face turns bright red. That's when the door opens. Crom, is Elle by any chance? Miss Raina enters, and stops suddenly. Her eyes go right to Elle and I, who are in bed together. She slowly and quietly closes the door as she leaves. Mom, wait. My second day in the past begins with this peaceful exchange. I get changed and head to the dining table just like yesterday. I will be in the capital for a while, says Mr. Sirius while we have breakfast. Oof you oh. Elle expresses her confusion while biting on a piece of bread. I'm going to report what happened yesterday to the royal palace, and ask the capital to send a survey team as well. Survey team? Weren't the adventurers of this town going to investigate? Asks Miss Raina. Yes, but this town has always been at peace, so the adventurers and vigilance committee are weak and few in numbers. They have been told not to probe too deeply, or it might be dangerous, says Mr. Sirius, before his face turns a bit stern. I feel this incident was man-made. I also feel like this isn't over yet, and this town doesn't have the power to deal with it. We can't simply rely on that mystery hero either. He's sharp. It's the senses he cultivated as a knight. If he survived the first time around, if he didn't lose his life to that surprise attack, that future would have probably been a little less bad. I will be back as soon as I can, he says before turning to me. I leave this town to you while I'm away, Chrom. Yes. I'm glad to hear him ask this. Even the regular me of this time could do nothing but be protected himself. Mr. Sirius left, wearing his traveling clothes, and I practiced my time magic by doing housework just like I did yesterday. Now I'm in the backyard, swinging my sword. This is the daily training I've been doing for 100 years. I graduated as Mr. Sirius' pupil, but I still need to train this body, and build muscle to move like I did in the future. Having that said, it's going to take a long time to reach that level. In the future, I accelerated my training, accelerated my rest, and just kept repeating. After swinging the sword for a while, I wipe sweat with the sleeve of my training shirt. I'm still feeling the damage from yesterday. My body still hurts quite a bit, and I still can't use magic properly. I can fight if I have to, but I really don't want to face a strong opponent in this state. I want to enter the dungeon soon for the sake of stopping the birth of the second Demon King. But I should take it easy today. Rushing too much would be dangerous. I don't want to provoke an enemy while being unable to fight with my all. If it's like the first time, the second Demon King should be born in a week, so I don't have to panic just yet. Today, I'll just patrol around the town like Mr. Sirius asked. Also, I can see what's behind me reflected in the sword I restored back to being brand new with time magic. I can see pink twintails bobbing as their owner peeks at me. It's obviously you, Labrys. Am I being watched? I turn around quickly, just to check. She's startled and hides like a small animal. What is she doing? Labrys is on my mind today too because of that nightmare, but I don't get it. I have no idea what she's thinking. Join my Patreon to support me. Chapter 18. I tried gathering 3 childhood friends. It's my second morning in the past. I just finished my sword training, which for some reason was supervised by Labrys. Even as I leave the backyard, Labrys is still sneakily following me. What is she trying to do? I try to not pay too much attention to it as I take off my sweaty training clothes and bathe with water from the well. About cleaning my body with time magic. I can't do that. It's not like I can't rewind my body's time, but that would erase my training too. At times like these, it's better to just clean myself normally with water. I turn around and see pink twintails swiftly hiding, but I can still see a bright red ear. And then, I see her take a peek at me. That shows me her face, which is red for some reason. Don't you get tired of looking at me? I have no idea what she wants in the first place. I knew her behavior changed compared to the first time, but I'm starting to think it changed too much. I don't get it. I have no idea what she's thinking. I want us to see eye to eye this time. But this is just too complicated. I just don't get it. Should I just talk to her? At this rate, I'm just going to stay nervous too. And so, I get changed, and pretend to go to the backyard. But I turn a corner, and wait for her instead of continuing to walk forward. Not long after, I hear footsteps drawing near. Kaya, got her. I grab her arm so she doesn't run away, and corner her against a wall. Labrys, you've been peeking at me for a while. What are you doing? She turns away. Does she still not like me? We promised to be friends after yesterday's mock battle, but it's still awkward. I definitely can't say we've made up yet. I get the feeling she's a bit frightened too, but that's probably just because I caught her all of a sudden. This isn't good. I want to get along with Labrys this time, so it's alright, Labrys. I smile to try to reassure her. I won't turn against you even if for some reason you've developed an urge to peep on people. That's not it. She gets mad, and her face turns bright red. I came here to do sword training. But you're not carrying a sword, are you? Well, is there actually something you want to say to me? You. Labrys shrinks her shoulders, and stammers a response. Crom. Yesterday. She stops. Yesterday. Now I remember. Even I'm not that thick-headed. I see. The birthday present, eh? Miss Raina told me about it. You got me a birthday present. She looks at me blankly for a moment. Well, that too, but, that too? No, that's all. What a strange response. But I really didn't expect that from you. We're friends, aren't we, eh? I promised. I said we'd be friends if I lost that mock battle, so it can't be helped. We did make that agreement. It would be very difficult for us to just suddenly become friends again like we were before, but I see she is making an effort to compromise. She's still the same old Labrys. And then, she takes out a small package from her bag. I guess she wants me to take it. What is this? I open it, and see cookies. Their shape is kind of weird, and they're a little burned in the edges. Did you? They're not handmade or anything, eh? I didn't even say. Their shape is bad because I figured something cheap like this is good enough for someone like you. If I actually made them they would have come out a lot better. So don't misunderstand. Why yes. Sorry. She's talking really fast all of a sudden, and it sounds like she's upset. Still, thank you. I'm really happy. I place my hand on her head. But I'm more happy about getting one step closer to her than the present itself. Something like this would have never happened the first time around. The first time around, we never made up, and in the end, we had to fight to the death. But it looks like it will be different this time. It's still just one small step, but it's a giant leap for us. If we keep piling on these small steps, one day we'll get along again. It's with this resolution in my heart that, I hear a strange noise, like air is being let out of something. Apparently it came from Labry's mouth. That's right. I'm still patting her head. Her eyes are closed tightly, she's shaking, and her face is bright red. Did I upset her? I quickly pull my hand back. She tilts her neck slightly and looks up at me. Her kind of confused face makes me believe she's asking what's wrong or why did you stop. Does she actually not dislike it? I try patting her head again. She closes her eyes again, and shakes again. What emotion is this reaction supposed to express? I don't get it. I don't get how my childhood friend feels. I can use this head to solve all sorts of difficult academic problems related to magic, but this problem seems like it's too much for me. When I try to pull my hand back, she, probably involuntarily, moves her head up and rubs against my hand. This action is adorable, like what a little bunny who wants to be spoiled would do. But at this rate this is never going to end. This time I really pull my hand back. Labry sounds a little sad about it. She glares at me, like she's trying to hide it any way she can. As someone as lowly as you try not to touch me so casually, eh? After all that, I was patting her head for quite a while. But does that mean she actually didn't like it? She looks pretty upset. I don't get it. I have no idea how she feels. Are we really going to end up not seeing eye to eye? I'm kind of at my wit's end. Stare. I notice another gaze beside Labry's. I look over there, and see Elle's face peeking from the edge of a wall. When did you? Labry's jumps back. Are you two? You two? No. Labry's looks panicked for some reason. You're really friends again. Elle's smile is as bright as the sun. Now we can all play together again. I guess. Labry's looks kind of underwhelmed. That's great. Laby, you've been saying you wanted to make up with Crom all this time. I never. But you're always talking about him and I'm not. Labry's tone sounds a bit childish now. I've never seen her so shaken. Actually, I did see something like this yesterday. But it feels like we're back to when we were younger, when the three of us are together like this. I whisper without thinking. Back when we were just innocent kids. We used to play together all the time. Those are precious memories to me. I keep playing them back in my mind, to make sure I never forget them. Yes, it's been a while since the three of us were gathered in the same place like this. Elle nods, and claps her hands. Oh, that's right. My father isn't here today, so you're taking a break from training too, right Labby? We have to go somewhere to celebrate being reunited. Eh? Ah, sorry. I have to go patrol around town. Mr. Sirius entrusted the job to me. It's a peaceful town, but after that disturbance yesterday, I want to check it out. Then how about we all do it together? Yes, that'd be fine. Then let's go. Wait. I never said I would. Don't you want to? I look at Labrys. It's not that. She mumbles her response as she looks away. Then it's settled. Yes, and so, it's decided that the three of us are going to patrol around town. Join my Patreon to support me. Chapter 19. I tried patrolling around town. Labrys and I are together for the first time in a long time. We're going out to patrol around town together. A monster stampede just happened, even if it ended up falling flat. I'm sure the normally peaceful Almana is in a state of chaos and 3 cheers for the monster stampede. Phew Tilda. And to our great mystery hero. Monster meat. How about some monster meat skewers? I guess not. It sure is peaceful, even more than usual. It's like there's a festival going on. What happened? We keep looking around. Hey, I heard there was the corpse of a dragon. What? Townspeople take off running. I see. The town is making money off the corpses from the monster stampede. The primordial dragon's breath vaporized a lot of them, but there should still be hundreds of corpses. That's got to be worth a lot of money. The economic effects of monster corpses are nothing to be sneezed at. When a large monster is put down, adventurers, butchers, craftsmen, etc. gather around it, and stores open nearby to cater to them. Basically, it's like a whole new town is put together. Apparently something similar to this is happening now. Yesterday's monster stampede might actually be a plus to this town. I'm just glad everything is peaceful. HMPH. What a laid-back town. I was worried for nothing. You were worried about this town, Labrys? I was not. Labrys then turns away. She really doesn't want to get along with me. But if we really think about it, doesn't the fact that so many monsters came out mean it's actually safer now? Well, I guess so. Monsters are living beings. It's not like there's an endless supply of them, say Ellen Labrys. I'm assuming everyone else has reached the same conclusion. Unless you know what's to come, you'd never guess calamities would happen in succession. Oh well, I'll just be happy that it's peaceful. I didn't save this town to see it become dark and depressing. If it's peaceful, that's for the best. Labby. There's an all-you-can-eat of monster meat over there. Wait, don't pull me by the hand. It's embarrassing, and they're having fun too, so it's all good. And so, we're going to start by going around checking the stalls. They're a good source of information too. Hey, you're patrolling today, Crom? Can you even settle a quarrel if one breaks out? We can't count on a failure like him. That's not true. Crom is very dependable. The owners of the stalls all look at me with frowns on their faces. It's a small town, so most people know me because I live in the house of its feudal lord, Mr. Sirius. Not that I'm as popular as Elle. Elle is looking cute as always. It's big sis Elle. Here Miss Elle, take an apple. Geez, it's such a waste for her to marry Crom. Marry? Everyone makes a big fuss about her. You're the town's idol, Elle. Well, it's because the Moonheart family has an aura of the light attribute. I'm sure that comes with a charm that attracts people. Maybe. I'm not like that at all. You attract a lot of attention too, Labby. We look around, and see half of people's attention really is on Labrys. She's so beautiful. Pretty. Isn't that the one that trains in Mr. Sirius' place? Labrys comes to this town almost every day, but she doesn't usually come to this sort of place, so the townspeople aren't used to seeing her. She's startled and hides behind me. That's right, she was always pretty shy. Isn't she the daughter of an important noble? She's the daughter of the 4th Duke of Scarlet. Why is she with someone like Crom? Some voices like these also start to pop up, and Labrys looks increasingly more annoyed. Yes, I remember she doesn't like to be treated like a noble lady. I think that's why she wants to be a knight. But I want her to have fun in this town while she's here. Labrys, let's go to that stall over there. I point in a direction where there aren't many people, and take her hand. Why are you holding my hand? She then starts flailing. Someone like you. This isn't a date, you know. A date? I'm confused. Sorry, that's not what I was going for. I was just doing what I did when we were kids. Labrie's face turns bright red. Is that bad? I'm not a kid anymore. Labrie's puffs her cheeks like she's sulking, but doesn't try to shake me away anymore. She accepted it. See, Crom's not bad. First hell, now. Seriously, Crom, maybe I was wrong about him. Why is that Crom the only one who? I'm getting some painful looks from guys for some reason, but it's best not to mind it too much. I pull Labrie's by the hand and take her somewhere without many people. Is there any kind of trouble here in town? I ask the owner of a stall after buying Labrie's a skewer. Yes. Remember that rumbling yesterday? I've heard that it made furniture fall, and even brought down roof tiles. Was anyone hurt? Not that I've heard of. It doesn't look like there are monsters here or anything. Everything's nice and peaceful. Leaving that aside, did anyone from the Sorcerer Association come here? I ask, just in case. They're the ones behind yesterday's calamity, and I need to pay attention to what they're doing. Sorcerer Association. They did. Really? It's not like they did anything. You know that mystery hero, the one who took care of the monster stampede? Yes, I've heard the rumors. No one suspects that he's actually a failure like me. Apparently they were looking for him. They even offered a reward too. Reward already? It happened just yesterday. I was wondering what they might do, since they were behind it all. But they're faster than I expected. Am I that much of a hindrance in their eyes? Are they just interested in me? In any case, I'm not happy about it. That hero sure is unlucky, having those troublesome people after him. He sure is. They're really troublesome. At least they haven't figured out who I am. Having the Sorcerer Association after me is like being wanted throughout the whole continent. Their goal is probably to eliminate, and then dissect me. I'm sure those people are interested in my power. They've sold their souls to the research of magic, and they probably want to eliminate and dissect a hero like Kel. I think this means we'll probably face each other soon. My expression turns bitter without me realizing it, as I picture what's likely to come. Chapter 20. I tried helping townspeople. While patrolling around town with Elle and Labrie's, I learned that the Sorcerer Association is offering a reward and looking for the mysterious hero. That means me. I'm sure they want to eliminate and dissect me. I think this means we'll probably face each other soon. This thought makes me feel a little weary. In any case, thank you for the information. Yes, good luck, Lady Killer. Yes. I say goodbye to the owner of the stall, and turn back to Labrie's, but then, I notice she's absent-mindedly looking at something. She hasn't even touched the skewer in her hand. What's wrong, Labrie's? No, nothing. She quickly turns away, and I look to where she was looking. I see a girl holding her knee and crying. It looks like she fell and scraped it. You're worried about that girl, aren't you? Not really. I just don't like to hear children crying, Labrie's says while turning away again, but she keeps speaking at that girl. I don't want to ignore a crying kid either. Sorry, I'm going there. I run towards the girl. Are you alright? Did you fall and get hurt? Why yes. And it's bleeding. Don't worry, I'll take care of it with magic. But you're Crom the failure. I really am famous. I drop my shoulders, and then check the wound. Blood is oozing, but it really is just a scratch. And since it hasn't been very long, I can handle it even if I'm not feeling my best. I put my hand over the girl's wound. Turn back. The time of the wound returns to before she got hurt. The little girl blinks rapidly as she watches the wound close quickly. So, does it still hurt? No. Wow. It doesn't hurt anymore. I see. That's good. I smile and place my hand on her head. Thank you, big brother Crom, she says with her cheeks a little red, before turning back and running. She reminds me of you when you were her age, Labrie's. Labrie's? For some reason, her eyes are wide open. What? Crom, what was that just now? Just healing magic? You can use healing magic? That's pretty high level stuff, you know? And you never had the aptitude for it, right? I read books, and then I was able to use it. I guess that simple. Labrie's look of suspicion kind of hurts. Well, it was just a scratch. Even so, a healer would charge a few gold coins for what you just did. But it was just a scratch. That's how rare it is for someone to use this kind of magic. And I've never heard of someone completely erasing it and leaving no mark whatsoever. Really, I didn't know. And I even studied this era's magic too. It's more underdeveloped than I thought. Now that I think about it, mages tended to be more secretive in this era. Many tried to hide their knowledge about magic for the sake of titles and renown. The family I was born into, the Bellman family, and Labrie's Scarlet family are known as two of the four great houses of the Kingdom of Historia, and hold considerable power. But it's all because they monopolize knowledge of magic. It's difficult for techniques to evolve in this environment. Yesterday. Labrie's starts to say something. You two tilde. Geez, don't leave me behind. Elle comes running with her eyes a little moist. Laby, were you saying something? It's nothing. Really? Elle then hands me a stack of papers. But you know, I heard lots of things from different people tilde. Here. It's all the trouble in town organized in terms of priority. In such a short amount of time too. Elle is just too efficient. Especially with her combination of personal virtue and a lot of personal connections. She kept talking about us having fun together, but she's been casually putting in the most work. Sorry, I'm kind of ashamed of myself. I think I was wrong about you, Elle. Sorry. Why are you two apologizing? I'm glad I came along with you. This would have been a lot harder if I was alone. Really? I'm not popular in this town. If I tried to ask people if there was anything troubling them, a lot would probably be reluctant to rely on me, and I'm sure this would have taken a lot longer. Well then, let's go through this list one at a time. We start heading to where this list says there's trouble right away, and a few hours later. Hey, I hear Crom can solve anything if you ask. He fixed a jar that's our family heirloom. He jumped into a fire and rescued a kid. He fixed a roof leak that's been there for years in an instant. Is there anything he can't do? Sorry for calling you a failure all this time, Crom. Hey, form a line. The end of the line is here tilde. Townspeople line up in front of me. It's a small town, so word that I can solve problems quickly spreads. Crom. People start chanting. What a turnabout. Just a few hours ago they were all treating me like a failure. Wow, Crom. You're popular. No, this is impossible. Ha. I never expected this either. Labrie's is staring at me. How many kinds of magic can you even use? I'm only using one-time magic, but I don't really want to reveal its existence. I've been self-studying a little bit of everything. You couldn't use any magic at all until just yesterday. I guess everything's possible if you put your mind to it. It's not a lie. But it's not a good excuse either. Labrie's keeps looking at me like she's looking for an answer. By the time we finished dealing with the townspeople's troubles, it's already evening. Sorry for making you two come along. Geez, it's because you wanted to solve problems that didn't even matter to us. Sorry. I just didn't want to say no. Elle smiles, and Labrie's looks exasperated. What? I was just thinking that it's just like you. Yes, it's just Crom being Crom, I guess. What do you two mean by that? I don't know. Labrie's turns away. Elle, on the other hand, sounds happy. You know, even when we were kids, you always wanted to help people in trouble, right? It's just like you to want to help everyone, right, Labrie's? Don't ask me. Labrie's sounds flustered. Well, you're Crom. So when you tried to help them, you always just started pathetically panicking. Labrie's words bring back a lot of memories. She's right. I used to try to help people when I saw them in trouble. I wanted to be like the ones who saved me, Mr. Sirius, Miss Raina, and Elle. But I didn't have the power I have now, so a lot of times I ended up not being able to do anything. I'm kind of getting embarrassed. You could call it youthful enthusiasm. But I feel like my dark history is getting dug up. But didn't you actually manage to help some people too? HMPH. Labrie's turns away. How many times has she done this just today? Yes, It's nothing to get embarrassed about. I like watching you help people. I get even more embarrassed after Elle says this, and my face gets increasingly redder. But today was fun, wasn't it? The three of us being together for the first time in a while. Elle frantically tries to change the subject. I hope it's like this forever. Me too. HN. I feel like Labri's nodded just a bit at Elle's words, and when I look at her, she turns away. I get the feeling that her face is turning red, but that could be the sunset. Still, I'm sorry for keeping you here so late, Labri's. Yes, your house is far away too, so you should probably go back soon. Yes, we don't want to keep her here too long, because she came here from the capital. But for some reason she's not moving, except for looking up and peeking at me. Aren't you going home? Before that, there's something I want to ask you, says Labri's, hesitantly. Yesterday. Labri's mumbles something. No, forget it. She shakes her head like she's clearing her mind. I'm sure it's all in my head. Really? Yes. Labri's seemingly lonely smile leaves an impression on me. See you tomorrow. Yes, see you tomorrow. Bye Labie. Tomorrow. I'm sure the future that's waiting for us is the same as today. I wave at Labri's as she leaves with this belief in my heart. Join my Patreon to support me.